Hey, what's up, guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here, and it's the weekend! Yes! That means I get to sit down and spend some quality time with my favorite people in the world. And that's you guys, my community members. So good to be here. And you know what? It's been a big week, and I can't wait to tell you about it. So, before we begin, as you can see, I am still taking a break from playing Halo 5 Guardians Warzone Firefight for these types of videos. Instead, I am playing Overwatch. It's an excellent game, but why am I playing this and who am I playing as? So as you can see, I'm playing as Symmetra, and this is important because the girl who plays Symmetra, the woman I should say, is a very good friend of mine. She's actually my mentor, and you probably saw her. I did an interview with her a couple of weeks ago, and here's an actual fact for you. Here's something that's really cool to know. I have not died playing as her once in this game since I started playing Overwatch at all. And I know that now that I've said that, you're going to try to hunt me down in this game and kill me anyway. Kill the Tyrant! But that's what I'm doing here. I played Slender, the 8 pages, the last couple of weeks, but I actually beat it this week, finally, and so I'll post that at some point, probably this week. But yeah, settle down for some Overwatch, and let's get into this. I surpassed a major milestone this week for the site, and I reached over 30,000 subscribers. And so, yay! I wanted to, just take a second to thank you all for just being there, constantly, being supportive, and just being a part of my community. I can't do this without you, and so thank you for doing that. I'm very happy to announce that, so it's so cool. But that's not the only milestone that I passed this week. I also posted my 600th video on this channel. Whew, so it's been a long journey so far, hasn't it? And hopefully there'll be 600 more. And but that's not the coolest thing that happened this week. As cool as that is, it's not the coolest thing. So if you follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, you're gonna wish you did after this, which, by the way, do it now. Pause this video, go to Twitter, follow me at MythicTyrant. I'll post a link in the description below. But for those of you who do follow me on Twitter, you probably already know that this past week I had an exchange with a very talented Halo YouTuber. His name is the Act Man. I'm sure most of you have heard of him. He produces a lot of great content. Probably one of the best things that I've seen of his that I really enjoy and highly recommend that you watch is his review on Halo 5 Guardians. It is hands down the best review you are ever going to find on YouTube or any sort of entertainment medium out there, or any medium platform. Period. It's long, it's separated into multiple parts, but it's very, very good and very detailed. So definitely check that out. If you aren't following him on YouTube yet, go ahead and subscribe to him now, and you're definitely going to want to do that. And if for anything, because he has one of the most kick-ass voices you will ever hear on YouTube, and I love it so much. It's like a mashup of Nathan Fillion meets Markiplier, two people that I really admire and really love to listen to. So you're going to love listening to Act Man. He's a great guy. But why am I bringing this up? So we talked on Twitter, and essentially we are going to have a debate on a very heated subject matter, not only on this site, but in the Halo community in general, and that's regarding Halo 3 Anniversary. And those of you who've seen my videos on Halo 3 Anniversary already know my stance. Personally, I don't think we need one right now, but he sees the opposite way, and so we're going to have a little debate. It's going to be on his channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to just, making a video with Act Man. He's a really talented guy, and this is going to be a fun subject to debate. Again, opposite sides. We're going to see who wins this thing. As soon as I know when the video is going to be posted, I'll let you know on Twitter. So again, follow me on Twitter at MythicTyrant, and it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope you are too. And I do have one last piece of news for this week, and that is PAX Prime 2017. I will be attending this year, or at least I'm planning to. I've already made the reservations. I've already bought the 3-day passes. This is the first time that I've been there since 2012. Unfortunately, I had a lot of stuff happen every year since then. So this is really the first opportunity I've had to return to PAX Prime. So if you're going to be there and you see me, don't be a stranger. Come up to me, say hi, we'll talk some Halo, and I'm not too hard to spot. I'm the guy in the wheelchair with the glove on his hand, so I'll stick out like a sore thumb, but I'm looking forward to it. And for anyone who's going to be there, don't be afraid to come up to me and say hi. We can have a lot of fun together, so I'm really looking forward to that too. So let's go ahead and get on with the Q&A. For those of you who don't know how this works, I pick 12 questions every week. You submit your questions in the comment section below or on Twitter. I tend to usually pick the ones on Twitter first, not because they're worth more or anything like that. I don't want you to think that at all. It just they stand out a little bit more, and I tend not to miss those. But yeah, either way, comment or ask it in the comment section below. Sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit. Or hit me up on Twitter. Either one works. I select 12 every week. I'm probably going to be expanding that in the near future. But anyway, so now you know how the game works. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's Q&A. Our first question of the week comes from Angel Flores. And Angel asks, would you like to see a return of Spartan Ops and Fireteam Majestic in Halo 6? And if so, why? No, not really. I don't know how to sugarcoat that any other way. Spartan Ops was fine, but I feel like that was supposed to be a replacement for Firefight, and it just really didn't feel that way. And the cutscenes that happened in between the matches really didn't match up with the matches themselves. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. So I would like to see them avoid that, and personally, if anything, steer more towards not just Firefight or Warzone Firefight, but traditional Firefight as well. Not just what we saw in Reach, but in ODST as well. So I hope that answers your question, Angel, and that's a good topic to bring up. I appreciate that. Our next question comes from Spider Hoppus. Only 2 questions in, I'm already going to have nightmares. So Spider asked, if 343 was to do a complete reboot of Halo, what changes would you make and what would you keep? Love your videos, bro. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Well, I don't think they should reboot it at this point. It's not Spider-Man, you know, it's not X-Men or anything like that. It's a well-established franchise. It's been around for 16 years now. I don't think rebooting it's going to do any good unless they're just remastering Halo campaigns, which we've already talked about that. I'm not completely against it, but I just don't think it's the right time for it. So I don't think they should do that. If they were to do it, I would say make it freaking consistent, because even dating back to Bungie's games, the games still felt jarringly different from each other. Halo 2 felt completely different from Combat Evolved. Halo 3 felt very different from Halo 2. And then Reach was just its own thing completely. So that's the only thing that I would really change, is just try to make it more consistent. Don't let the aliens speak English. And you probably want to take out the main characters that are Covenant that do speak English. I know that means they'd have to basically rewrite everything, but that's my personal opinion. In other words, no reason to touch it at all. But I hope that answers your question, Spider, and happy hopping. Our next question comes from a person. Well, that's good. So a person asks, what is the rarest or hardest achievement that you have ever gotten in any game ever? Honestly, this is probably going to go back to Halo, and I don't know if this really counts as an achievement, although technically it is one in the Master Chief Collection, but I'd say Mythic difficulty in Halo was the hardest thing I've ever done, and the most rewarding was probably Halo 3, because that was the first time I ever did it. Only about 50 some odd people have ever done it worldwide, at least legitimately, which is, if you don't know, and I'm sure most of you do, because, you know, how I got my name Mythic in MythicTyrant, is Mythic is playing a game on legendary difficulty with every single skull on, no saves or deaths from mission to mission. So no saving and quitting. You've just got to go through and power through it. To me, that was the greatest achievement I've ever done. In fact, the Halo 4 Lazo/Mythic achievement is named after both me and Naked Eli. It's called Naked Tyrant. Technically, I have achieved it. I just didn't do it in Master Chief Collection. I only did it with the original Halo 4. So I hope that answers your question, a person. But what's your achievement? Why don't you let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite or hardest achievement that you've ever done? Our next question comes from Madsy27. And Madsy asks, Halo Reach's lack of legendary ending left many fans wanting more. I'd like to know what your version of Reach's ending should have been. This isn't going to make you very happy, but the only thing I would have changed for the Reach ending is knowing what June's fate was. I think we found out in extended lore, but you know, I always thought that the whole point in Reach was to have all the Spartans killed off so that Master Chief would be the last Spartan, which is how Halo Combat Evolved opens up. He's supposed to be the last Spartan. There's not supposed to be any others out there. So the only thing I would have changed is maybe having June jump down with him for the final cutscene and help try to fight them off, and it just not work out. You know, they both get overwhelmed. At the same time, though, I can see that being a problem because each one of the deaths in that game was matched up with the Spartan. And I think Actman would agree with me on this one too, where, you know, Kat was the brain, so she got shot in the head. I mean, that sounds terrible, but it is true. George, the biggest Spartan, dies in a huge slip space explosion. You've got Carter, who basically goes head first into a scarab because he always is willing to charge head first into battle. And of course, you have Noble Six, who is a lone wolf. The mission itself where he dies is called Lone Wolf, and he basically dies alone. It's tragic, but it's fitting at the same time. So I don't know if I'd change anything, but if I had to even remotely consider it, it's just finding out something about June. So I hope that answers your question, Madsy, and thank you. Our next question comes from Views Venomous. I love that name. And Views asks, if the characters of Red Team meet with the Arbiter, what do you think the reaction would be? And would they be able to, would they know about the events that happened prior to Halo 2? You know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure at this point that Isabel is filling them in on the whole human Covenant war, the result of it, the fact that the elites teamed up with the humans or had at least some sort of an uneasy truce or alliance. So I'm pretty sure that she's filled them in on the gap so that, you know, they don't, you know, try to go Charles Manson all over the Arbiter when they find him. But I hope that answers your question. Basically, I think that it's going to be fine. Nothing to worry about there, but always good to see you, Views. Thank you. Our next question comes from Hesitated Cobra as opposed to Jumpy Python. And Hesitated Cobra asks, do you think that 343 will keep using the same enemy factions like the Covenant, Flood, and Forerunners for future titles over and over again, or will they introduce a new, more threatening foe for us to fight in the future? I hope not. As I've mentioned in the past, I hope Halo 6 chronologically is the last Halo game. And if they're going to make more, they take place earlier in the franchise, something to further expand on the current universe rather than just continuing to drag out the story. So in that regard, I don't think we'll be seeing any new factions, but I hope we see new enemies within each faction. I think that would be cool, and it's 100% doable. So I hope that answers your question, Cobra. Thank you, and watch out for that Python. I hear he's hungry. Our next question comes from David Bailey. And David asks, how should the armor system be set up in Halo 6? So I'm not sure what he's asking here, if he's talking about physical abilities or aesthetics. We'll start with abilities. I honestly like the thruster pack in Halo 5. I know I'm the odd man out there, but I think it's a vast improvement over armor abilities. So I say keep that. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all on Halo 6. In terms of aesthetics, if you're talking about how to earn armor in-game, which might be what you're asking. The only thing that I can figure there is I'd like to see it go back to the old system where you could only earn armor via achievements or things that you accomplish in-game. Rec packs are good for a lot of things as long as you earn them in-game, not buy them. But I don't think that, you know, first of all, it's completely random what you get, and I think that's not always a good thing, especially if you're aiming for a certain type of armor. I think all that should be left up to achievements, just like in Halo 3. I think that was that way in Halo Reach too, but I don't remember. Halo 3 was the last time where I actively hunted for armor because I was really into that Halo ODST armor. So that's my stance on that. I hope that does answer your question. I'm sorry if it doesn't. That's kind of what I took from it, though. So thanks for stopping by, David. I appreciate it. Our next question comes from Killjoy979. I hate you guys in multiplayer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm usually one myself. So Killjoy asks, would you ever consider ONI as a potential enemy, considering they have shown themselves recently as a potential threat? No. I mean, they've always been sort of shady, and I think that's sort of their nature. They're like the Men in Black of their universe, which, if you don't know that, that's a cool alien movie with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. They always sort of operate in secret, maybe like the top-notch FBI or CIA type deal. But honestly, I don't see them as an enemy. Yes, shady, unpredictable at times, sure. Do they do things that we don't agree with, including the Spartan program? From a humanitarian perspective, that is true. They do stuff that we don't always seem to be, they don't always seem to be very humanitarian. So I don't think they're an enemy, but I always think people are going to look at them and just kind of like in their own way hate them, sort of like Republicans and Democrats, if that makes any sense. So I think that's how it's going to be, but they're never going to be an actual threat. But that's an interesting question, Killjoy. Thank you. Our next question comes from Causing Dawn 1145, as opposed to midnight. And Causing Dawn asks, let's say that 343 decides to make a prequel game set either on Harvest or shortly afterwards to tell the story of how the Human Covenant War began. What are your thoughts on such a game? And would you rather play as the Chief or Sergeant Johnson? So this question has sort of been asked before, but not quite in that detail. I'd be 100% down for a harvest-based game. I think that's the one thing the series is missing at this point. I'd love to see it. In terms of who I want to play, I don't want to play Master Chief because, you know, we have enough games with the Chief. I love the Chief. He's the icon of the series. I'm a huge fan of the Chief, and Steve Downes, the guy who plays him. But I'd like to play as a different character. In terms of Sergeant Johnson, that would work fine, but they'd have to compensate for it in some way, shape, or form. We saw them do this with Halo 3 ODST in the way they do the suits, and instead of shields, they had stamina, which sort of had mixed results from the fan base. But it would be cool. It would be awesome to play as him just because of the dialogue alone, but they'd have to be able to balance it out with, okay, who's he hearing over comms so you're not always completely alone? What kind of damage can he take? That sort of thing. They'd have to do a lot of tweaking. I've said in the past that I'm not a real fan of going for a straight Marine game because they have too many other franchises out there that do that, and the Spartan program is unique to Halo. But if they could find some sort of a balance for it, maybe a Spartan 1 type suit or an exoskeleton, that would be cool, and I can see it playing in very well. I haven't seen that in lore yet, but that's not to say that it can't happen. And personally, I would be first in line to buy that game. So that's an excellent question, Causing Dawn. And by the way, how do you cause the dawn? Our next question comes from Austin K. And Austin asks, hey Tyrant, for me the music of Halo 1, 2, 3, and ODST is a big fact in the overall picture that made those games amazing and memorable. How important do you think the soundtrack of Halo 6 is to the game, and do you think Marty O'Donnell could make a return as the composer? Love the content, man. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, Austin. I appreciate that. And that's a really good question. First of all, the music is extremely important to Halo, and they really need to nail it. Now, personally, I think I've really enjoyed the soundtracks in Halo 4 and 5, but you cannot top the master, and that is Marty O'Donnell. He is the man. He will forever be the composer of Halo music and the best one out there by far. Last time I checked, he wasn't working for Bungie anymore because he got fired. Not sure what the deal was behind that. Not sure I want to know because I like Marty, and I've actually done some videos with him in the past. He's a really good guy. And honestly, I would love for 343 to take Marty on. Is there a chance of it happening? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, why not? I mean, it's work, it's return to form, it's return to Halo. And you know what? As much as I hate to say this because I really do love Bungie, it'd be a way to stick it to them too by going to the quote-unquote enemy team. So it's a chance. I think it'd be a great move on their part, and that's an excellent question, Austin. Thank you. Our next question comes from Sparkles Nasal. I guess it's a nasal cavity. So Sparkles asked, would you like a prequel that fleshed out Noble 6? He's pretty boring as a character in Reach. Ouch! Oh, I would love to hear Actman's opinion on that one. So in short, absolutely. I don't think he was a boring character at all. But, you know, he has some backstory that sounds like it'd be interesting. It's a lot of black ink, you know. He's labeled as hyper-lethal, the only other Spartan aside from Chief to be given that label. And I'd love to see where he was before Noble Team. You know, what did he do? What got him that rank? What got him that title? I think it'd be a great story, and I'd love to see it personally. So that's a great question, Sparkle. Thank you. And our final question of the week comes from Maximum Rage Quit. I'm already liking this. And Maximum Rage Quit asks, you missed mine last week and the one 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, dude. Well, I got you this time. He says, you mentioned how you would like the Didact to be the one who controlled Cortana in Halo 6, but you also mentioned how 343 should not force us to read external lore to understand the games. This is a contradiction. As far as I'm concerned, the Didact died in Halo 4. Bringing him back would be dumb, similar to bringing Cortana back. The death in the series will mean nothing because they'll just pop out in the next game. I agree with Mark Kikolia on this one, where Cortana should have the logic plague after what the Gravemind said to her after Halo 2. Gravemind is dead, but Cortana carries on his work, similar to John and the Saw series. Thoughts? First of all, this is an outstanding question, and he could not be more correct. I did contradict myself because I have been a very strong advocate for 343 or even Bungie back in the day, not requiring you to know outside lore in order to understand the game. But I also said that I thought it would be really cool if the Didact were somehow digitized via the composer, via external lore, which did happen, and he became the puppet master behind Cortana's evil traits. That way you could bring the Reclaimer saga full circle, with Didact being a great villain and all. So he's right. I absolutely did, in a way, not entirely, but yes, I did contradict myself, and I'll explain in just a second. So for those of you who aren't sure of what he's talking about when he's referring to the Logic Plague, there's an excellent video done by another great Halo YouTuber named Hidden Xperia. And he basically goes into detail about how when Cortana was captured by the Gravemind in Halo 2 and 3, he injected something called the Logic Plague in her. And essentially the concept is it would be a way for him to sort of live on. I don't know if I'm getting that completely right. I have seen the video. But basically it was like a part of a two-part plan in order to make sure that the Gravemind ultimately won. And that now it's being activated in Halo 5, so it's sort of coming full circle. Basically, I'm not going to lie, Hidden Xperia's theory is flat out awesome. It's amazing. And the reason why I think it won't happen that way is exactly that reason. It's too good. It's something that I would love to see in a game, and I don't mean to villainize 343 here, but after what happened with Halo 5 Guardians, I don't trust that they can actually make a story that good. Again, I'm not trying to hate. I know they're looking at this right now going, Mythic, you're pushing it. Now, again, it seems like it's overly complex. I don't know how they would fit that into one game. And part of the problem is you're throwing back to an event that took place, at least in terms of the release of the games, over 10 years ago. So I don't know if a lot of people from this generation are going to understand what that is and how it pertains to the current saga. Because remember, that's an entirely different trilogy. Now, granted, you could argue they are bringing the Flood back, so it's entirely possible, and we don't know if the Gravemind is alive or not after the events of Halo 3, but the Flood clearly are. So, again, I'm not sure how that would work exactly. It would be interesting. And by the way, if you haven't seen Hidden Xperia's video yet, definitely check that out. I'll see if I can post a link in my description below for you. Here's why it's not really that big of a contradiction to myself. In terms of, I know that it happened in terms of external lore, what happened with the Didact, and we all thought he died and all that. But here's the thing, and here's what you need to keep in mind. They can explain that in a cutscene. Because in terms of what actually ultimately what happened to the Didact, it was Blue Team going after him at Installation 03, and that's how they caught up with him. They could explain it in a very detailed and very informative cutscene in-game to a character that was unaware of those events. So that's an entire possibility, so you don't actually need to know the lore. We haven't heard from the Didact in a while, and the thing of it is, he was such a cool villain, especially compared to anything else we've seen in the Reclaimer saga. And I feel like, his demise in Halo 4 wasn't earned, it wasn't worth it. It felt very shortchanged considering how powerful he was, and there needs to be a more fleshing out of this character. He's just too good to let go out that way. So personally, I think it's something that could be brought up in Halo 6 without going into the concept of, well, it happened outside the game, so no one's going to understand it. They can fix that if they do it right. So I hope that answers your question, Maximum Rage Quit. That was an excellent one for sure. And definitely come back here and ask more. I want to hear more from you, buddy. So that brings a close to this week's Q&A session. So what do you guys think about the whole Didact thing? Do you see that being an option for Halo 6, or would you rather see the Logic Plague? You can let me know in the comments below along with your question of the week, or hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. I'll put a link in the description below. And if you like this video, click that subscribe button for more awesome content every single day right here on MythicTyrant.com. Stay tuned for updates in terms of the debate that I'm going to have with the Actman regarding Halo 3 Anniversary. And also, stay tuned for the live show I'm going to give to you tomorrow, the live stream where I'm going to be tackling Halo 3 on Legendary, a full game run. Looking forward to it because that is me returning to my home territory. I cannot wait, and I hope you're looking forward to it too. Thanks so much for watching, guys and gals. I'll catch you right back here next time. Have a great weekend, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.